Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your new moon in Capricorn ceremony. I'm using my Chromebook right now. I think this is the first StreamYard I've done with my Chromebook, so um, everything looks really small. But I think you should. I think you could. I think you guys are able to see the chart. Other than that, thank you guys for tuning in with me. This is actually my younger sister's bedroom. My mom did construction on the house. I'm in Texas right now. Um, I thought that was a very interesting omen. I moved to El Paso 2009, 2010. 2016, I moved personally to Vegas, and we've been visiting her every year, um, just coming here to El Paso. But basically, you know, when I came this year, I realized that she entirely renovated the kitchen space. Um, I don't know if you guys remember earlier videos where there was the kitchen and then there was an outer room. So if you hear construction, that's actually what's being worked on right now. And that to me was a physical omen of how different 2025 is going to be. I'm talking about new floors on the ground. It looks really nice. And that really gave me an indicator of how different 2025, how new 2025 is going to be. And I like how, we take physical actions to reflect these new cycles. And I'm very excited. I'm very, very, very excited. Shout out to those of you in Dallas, Houston. That's like 9 hours away from El Paso. I didn't realize, the best way to realize how big Texas is to quite literally just drive across it. But yeah, that being said, we're going to do a decision-making ceremony. It's going to be relatively quick. And after this decision-making ceremony, once again, this is actually the last new moon ceremony of the year before Wednesday. And yeah, we're going to do this decision-making ceremony. And it's really as simple as just setting an intention with 100 plus people who are going to set the intention that your intention becomes realer than ever. So it's definitely supercharged, but at the God level. What's also good about or great about this, as you can see, we are actually, as of now, really beginning this new moon. Okay. We are 9 degrees exact. 31 minutes with the moon, 42 minutes with the sun. So this activation is you actively sowing seeds. Before I really go into, more elements of this, I think it's important for some of you to understand the whole element of demon possession, cursed spirits, evil in people's, psychology is going to be so much more noticeable now than ever. The awakening of Pluto and Capricorn merely just awakened latent power within people's bodies. And, certain people can get so used to certain patterns, they could be literally blind to committing them on the spot. And it's not up to us to apply our subjective morality to them, but believe who people show you they are the first time is quite literally what I'm saying. So the reason why I'm saying this is now, and Lucky Divine, happy birthday, fam. Happy birthday. Happy early birthday. Now that we are stepping into this Pluto Aquarius chapter, where, accordingly, this is going to put you in a position to apply this body awakening to the strength of your mind, this is going to make more noticeable the sensitivity of those who don't walk in integrity and how much more sensitive they are to you walking in integrity. This entire Capricorn season is an integrity walk as you are organizing this final level of your character. So you're going to notice a lot more intensity, a lot more projection, a lot more hatred projected your way because of SLBs and WLBs who cannot manipulate you, who cannot employ, you know, passive aggressive mechanics in order to try and change your behavior, because these beings who really, rely on that have no real power within themselves. So they have to employ in illusions, lies, deception to try and manipulate your behavior. And there's nothing more than they hate than people who stand on their own value and integrity, who can't be bought, who can't be manipulated. Okay. You actually intimidate them at levels that they really can't stand. And so this is what lends to them to project on you. Should you ever be worried about people who project negativity on you? Well, the only people who project negativity on others are people with no real power, people who are inherently weak, people who are not that smart, and beings who open themselves up to be manipulated by others. So basically, cannon fodder. It's nothing you should worry about. What you want to be aware of is inadvertently lowering yourself to their level just by, you know, reacting to whatever they do to try and get your reaction. They are insecure, and insecure people need someone to feel better than, and they will never feel better than you. So instead of looking into the mirror, they're just going to make their problem your problem. And all you have to do is remember that their problem will never be your problem. And if it is, you will be the solution real quick. You have spent since 2008, bars, I know. You have spent since 2008 awakening every facet of your body to the skeletal structure, if we even take the Saturnian nature of Capricorn. Um, People can feel comfortable calling you names, committing ad hominem fallacies, but that's because they're miserable and they're weak inside. And that's the only way that they can cope. That's really all they have. Whereas you've spent an entire year showcasing how what you have is intrinsic, and you can create anything with that. You can direct anything with that, which is an amazing place to be in during Capricorn season, the sign of the creator. All right. I established this new moon by making a new investment. I opened a new bank account and I made a deposit. And what do you know? The bank teller who took my deposit was actually born January 7th. She was born Capricorn season, Queen of Pentacles. And so omens like this are guiding you forward psychically and metaphysically in order to align you with just the will of your intentions. Be mindful of that as you really navigate through energetic projections that seek to make you or influence you to feel guilty or ashamed of taking decisions that align with your authenticity and integrity. Anyone who does that in an effort to see you as less than you are is an op, and ops are getting slaughtered. Let me be very honest. Pluto Aquarius isn't playing around. So any grace period that has occurred through the previous cycle of 1997, where Saturn went into Aries, versus now, where Saturn is coming out of Pisces, is over. And when you start seeing people drop dead, when you start seeing people's ulterior motives being exposed do not be surprised because, like I was saying before, the light emitting from the purity of your intentions seriously irritates the demons within others. But now there's a different level of this to where outside of just irritation, this can now step into a deeper extreme that with others' willingness to still impede your progress, whatever happens, happens. And once again, it's not even your problem. All you really need to do is just breathe and keep it moving. Breathing is really the greatest sign that you are being spiritual because there's life in the breath, and the breath is spirit. That's pretty much it. We may find ways to complicate it, but are you breathing right? That's literally it. The reason why I'm saying this is some people think they're slick. Some beings, organizations have pride in witchcraft, black magic, or other such dark arts which usurp your will in order to subjugate their commands. And some people are about to understand the hard way that your spirit team does not play that you are severely protected by angels, not even supremely, severely, that issue severe consequences. All right. What's very significant about this is that this Capricorn season is the fourth activation of a cardinal sign. Relative to the Gregorian calendar year, we do have four of these a year. But relative to the spring equinox, this fourth one is the final one. And when you think about transits from Capricorn through Aquarius, producing the effect in Pisces, this brings a conclusion and a completion of everything we activated in Aries, where every year we update our firmware, which is our consciousness, and we move into a new direction with that new moon expressing the individuality of our characters. You do this every year. Every March 20th, coming into April, you take individual actions that carve your individuality, that express who you are. You take individual actions every day of the year, but the individual actions you take during that first new moon stamp in where it is you're going to eventually harvest during the third activation of power through Libra during the fall equinox. What's very important with Pluto and Aquarius in a zodiac sign of knowledge is that the work that you have done to demonstrate your authority is no longer needed. Not that it was ever needed at all. Many of you have wasted time arguing with people who sit in their pride, who have no experience doing what you have spent years doing. This is facts. Regardless how emotional or regardless what hearsay people heard from this or that person, they have 0 years or minutes of experience where you are actually the authority, as you can prove it. You have literal receipts. Okay? So this is where your work continues to do more of the talking. And I really hope that as you capture this final stage of your character, of completing this cycle, you don't waste your time arguing with people who would be privileged to even be in your presence when talking about something you are a verified expert in. Namely, like Blue Flame said, we did the work. Please do not let people who don't even know the work you do and haven't done the work specifically in that context tell you about what you do and tell you that you shouldn't continue doing what you do. You don't have to argue with such people. You don't have to go back and forth with such people. You can laugh at them because it's comical. But as long as you don't raise unnecessary stress, since the cognitive dissonance within them that refuses to accept that they don't know what they're talking about and you do, doesn't allow them to accept that they are that stupid. But it's cool. Welcome to the final God power activation, the first new moon since 2008, where Pluto is no longer in the zodiac sign of Capricorn. Now, we are not talking about sidereal. Pluto in the constellations is traveling through the constellation of Capricorn, but we are not stupid enough to mistaken zodiac signs for constellations. That is pure idiocy. We understand that both are accurate. And whereas one shows us where it is in the zodiac, the other shows us where it is in the constellations. All right? Beautiful. This is going to get so much weirder. And if you thought humanity was getting increasingly weird, you haven't seen anything yet. A whole new generation of crash outs are coming of age. CEOs are literally getting murdered, and lookalike contests are being done because people are that desensitized from being lied to and used near their whole lives. Welcome to the revolution. And as we step into this next era, turns out secrets of your DNA and biology will awaken in front of your very eyes as the synchronization process that has occurred is now tangibly manifesting so you can organize what direction you take this into as Saturn enters Aries and Neptune enters Aries as well. Will it be televised? Yes and no. But most importantly, everything outside of our field of vision, we will align with in a way that we have never aligned with before. So I would invite for you to throw away everything that you have been taught in the garbage. Because similar to using training wheels on a bike, when you take those training wheels off, you don't really need that extra support. You're getting ready to customize how much more, let's just say, uniquely you express God given power and spiritual gifts that only you can harness, that no one else can tell you how to harness, that no middleman, pastor, or government authority can tell you how to connect with. This requires a valuable amount of responsibility. And if you are willing to accept the responsibility that comes with this great power, well, welcome to this ceremony, because we are going to make a series of decisions that as we make these decisions together, all you have to do, should you choose to accept, is everything you do forward from this point, you want to do from this decisive decision making point and ceremony. What does that mean? It means if you decide to accept nothing less but the best, then any time you deal with other people and everything you do, you will revisit that decision and do from there. You will not accept anything less but the best from people, or of course yourself. Okay. As you step more into this power, power creates resistance. We can use Ohm's law. Voltage times, or rather, resistance, ohm, times current, amperes, equals voltage. Okay. Um, as you step more into your power, the frequency of that creates higher resistance, similar to you playing a video game. And as you progress more into the level, There's more enemies you can beat for experience. The dark forces possessing those who have given their souls away for evil because they ain't shit. So they have to hide behind money, possessions, and status because that's all they have while they pretend to be spiritual. But we see you, bitches. Okay? This is going to irritate more the presence of those who cannot really handle the integrity of your vibration. And as you feel more of this resistance, it is a telltale sign that you are getting more powerful. Some people, when they feel more of the resistance, especially as we're walking up the Capricorn mountain of success, slow down. They choose fear. They don't want to ruffle feathers around them, right? They don't necessarily want smoke. They don't want to feel more resistance, and they get stuck at where they are. But you're not a coward. So you know that once you feel that resistance, oh my God, I didn't know it was on the chart. So they know that once you feel that resistance, right, you keep moving forward and you gain strength through that resistance. You are going to feel this increasing nature of power. And all you have to do while you are at this elite state is not lower yourself to the level of those who refuse to do the spiritual work and instead spiritually bypassed themselves, spiritually bypassed the hard hitting issues that you didn't sweep under the rug and you called yourself out on and worked on. Don't do this work for other people. If other people have a problem with what you're doing, let them state it. And if they don't have a problem, tell them to shut their bitch ass up. Now, I have to say bitch ass because they are bitch asses. I don't mean to be vulgar here. That being said, if they do have a problem with it, tell them to do something about it. This is the serious gravity of Capricorn that, if you should practice, will save you so much time. All right. That being said, I am going to show you through the transits what the decision making process over the next 2 weeks will look like. And then we will reconvene during the full moon in Cancer, where now we're going to release this intention and harvest the sincere individual feeling of this collective decision we are making. Capricorn is the version of yourself you take to a body of representatives representing an entire collective. Okay. There's me when I wake up in the morning and I say, I am amazing, Aries. And then there's me when I put on my suit, go to my job, and I have to represent an entire city. That's my public Capricorn persona. So we had the first activation in Aries. We had the second activation of power in Cancer, which allowed us to integrate a deeper understanding of who we established we are with our actions in Aries. Then we had the third activation of superpower. Why is that significant? Because Aries is raw physical power. Cancer is individual psychic power. Libra is social superpower. Distinct from the metahuman capability of Cancer, we now harvest superpower socially with Libra, the power of jumping. And then we cap it with the collective universal power of Capricorn, our connection to the universe. You could think of this as a pipeline where everyone has a sink, and every sink has a pipe that's connected to a water source that everyone can access the way we can access universal power. Pluto has been awakening this pipeline since 2008. And now that we are moving forward this awakening to extra dimensional quality of mind that exists outside the material universe. This is what's going to make things start to feel like Star Wars. In case you're excited about this fake or real alien disclosure, it's only just beginning. So I wouldn't get too excited about it as much as discerning. Albeit, let me not tell you what to get excited about or not. I think you're going to enjoy incredibly how powerful you have always been. And that's what this new moon of activating this universal power is for. The pressure that we've had with Pluto and Capricorn will be like releasing weights like Rock Lee did. And you'll find that you've been more powerful than you could have cognitively processed until now. All right. That being said, my friends, we are going to use the force to activate this intention. 218 plus people decided they value themselves greatly. So they are here doing this with you, and they're going to supercharge your intention as well. And as you see, the more people who are watching, the more this will exponentially supercharge. What's also cool is the lower the zodiac sign, the longer it takes to manifest. The higher the zodiac sign, the quicker it does. So because this is the fourth and final activation that we do every year, you're going to notice, especially with Uranus and Taurus and Saturn and Neptune and Pisces, that the activation of your intentions, boom, not only manifest instantly, but with Mercury and Sagittarius opposite Jupiter, which is the Eight of Wands, you will already see this come to fruition real time. And I think it's something, once again, you will greatly enjoy because it's everything you began to work towards since April. So I want you to look at this activation not as the beginning of a new chapter and year, but as the beginning of the end of a movie you started in April and will start again in April. That means the opening scene of the movie of 2024 began late March. Okay. And thank you very much, Anita. We reached the climax of the movie October, November, December. And now Capricorn season is right after the climax of the movie. You come into the conclusion. Did you notice when you watch a movie, once they beat the final boss or once they, accomplish the mission, the movie just doesn't end. Some movies do end like that though. But that's deeper laying that we can go into later, right? What you'll notice in the traditional sense is that after that, we revisit the beginning. We go back to the initial conflicts that we had, and we see how we have resolved those conflicts. And that's what Capricorn season is going to begin to do. The completion phase is appropriately Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Capricorn is the beginning of this completion phase by activating the awareness of our accomplishments, of everything we've broke through and harvested the previous season. Aquarius is now where we come into the knowledge of where this success belongs and the rewards that come from these accomplishments. And Pisces is the review that changes your belief relative to how you started this adventure. Now we are concluding before we start a new adventure. You may find that during this venture, you catch the gaze of those who are just frustrated with your existence, frustrated that you are securing yourself because you have something that is eluding them, just like intellect and smarts. You will also find that they're very frustrated with this sense that they can't get you to lower yourself to their level of misery, which does love company. And all you have to do is just keep enjoying yourself. This is power, the power that is unmoved by stupid, weak little bitches who think they can play with you, that is unmoved by dark forces that wish to test your integrity. Okay. That being said, I do want you to pat yourself on the back. Once again, this is conclusion. You're getting ready to now come into the accomplishments of what you and only you with those who you worked with, worked towards, and it is well deserved. Tap yourself on the back or pat yourself on the back and tap your neighbor and say, our success is well deserved. You should be happy in making anyone who sees you as less than you are uncomfortable. Beings like that should never be comfortable in your presence. Okay. That being said, that being said, what we are getting ready to do in activating this ceremony is activating universal force, God power. Once we leave this broadcast, the higher version of yourself, which really is the version, the facet of you that is here with you now, that exists beyond just your physical body. We, in making this intention during this period with 230 plus people, will beam that intention to this facet of yourself that outside of time knew you would make this decision now. If you even think of it as playing you in a video game, right? Once you make this decision, you will be guided through the synchronization process you have just completed. And you don't have to worry about knowing what to do. Knowledge will come in Aquarius. And as soon as the moon goes in Aquarius, like I will explain, this level of force you're getting ready to activate is going to feel like getting used to power you didn't really know you had because you were weighted down through this previous process of surgery. A great analogy that was said is this year felt like surgery without the anesthetic. Or I forgot how that was said, but you're going to be coming out of this dream and the surgery on your body is finished as we now begin this mind surgery to now further apply this activation of force through the force. Okay. And before we begin the ceremony, I'm going to speak on a concept that I spoke on last year. Once again, those who have an inability to demonstrate their issues with you will rely towards name calling. Anyone that has to do that has unknowingly shared their resignation. They're literally telling you that they quit and give up. So they have to make up names about you that aren't true. Do not waste your time arguing with such bottom feeders and fodder that are quite literally telling you that's what they are through these actions. Adults who reason like children have no reason to spend any time with you and waste your time. Okay. Give thanks for the growth that you have made this year. And it's going to really go a long way towards how we wrap up this chapter. Do not let anybody hit you with fear, false evidence appearing real, to coerce your decision making. It's easy to believe that you're protected by angels. It's another thing if a gun is in your face and you're being told to denounce what you believe, where if that happened to me, I would feel worse for the person with the gun. And I would never let anybody pressure me into making a decision that is not authentically me because no one has control over my soul. Someone may be able to hurt your body and stress your mind, but your soul is intrinsically yours. And while others feel content with selling their souls, using every excuse on the book like family and convenience, you are making the decision to, of course, maintain your integrity. And that's something that can never be bought. And that's why I enjoy serving. That being said, all right, the concept that I spoke on last year is a concept that represents, of course, your spirit and consciousness interacting with your awareness of reality that extends beyond what you can physically see and perceive. All right. So Imagine if you can talk to yourself in a way that updates you with information and knowledge without having to be there because you projected your mind or your spirit. And I don't mean you have to do these weird techniques. Imagine if you can, and most of you do this on a daily basis already. Okay. And I have to say this again, once again, people who are going out of their way to try and insult you and tell you names, they're very low intellect. So you have to understand that that's all they have. Like if you were to take that from them, it would expose how much they don't really know or are saying or doing anything. So even though there are facets of you that may feel the need to respond to that, I need you to understand that doing so is expressly beneath you, and it may undermine progress you've made to get to this point. So please, if you needed extra confirmation, you really don't have to. And if you weren't doing something right, they wouldn't feel the need to project that on you in the first place. So just saying. If they were telling the truth, they would demonstrate it. And their inability to demonstrate and prove such, where you have already presented receipts during this I Told You So tour, is evidence that they never knew what they were talking about. And their inability to accept that they were wrong about you reveals more flaws in how much they don't know who they are. Nothing with which has to do with you. Keep shining. Now, like I was saying before, imagine if you can ask yourself, hey, I wonder what amazing, and you do this every day. I wonder what amazing opportunities I can have right now. And then you immediately get the insight, you know what? In 5 minutes, go to the bar and just chill. Imagine if you can interface with yourself like your spirit was spiritual intelligence, right? Like you can interact with an intangible, universal aspect of yourself that exists outside of time and space and pretty much knows your options, and you can harness that, right? This is what's opening up for you. You go to that bar in 5 minutes, and boom, the opportunity comes to you. Up until now, you've always been doing this. You've just felt this as an intuition, a hunch. But what if your vocabulary around this hunch, in utilizing the infinite intelligence that we all have access to, expands and structures itself to where you have so much more understanding of what's happening while it's happening, whether through dreams, whether through powerful intuitions, or whether through your own literal thoughts. Okay. This is going to step into the construction that the God facet of yourself has been doing since 2008, and previously before then, since the 1700s. Okay. That being said, you will find as we move forward through Pisces season, where this eclipse is going to flip on its head everything that you've ever believed. And thank you guys so much for these comments. You guys are literally the best. This is going to open up more room of what you realize is possible. And it's going to break you through what others around you have lied to you in order to keep you into the cage of your own doubt, whether they're aware of it or not. Either because they do it to themselves and they're projecting, or they have a concerted effort to keep you nerfed because they're terrified of you realizing your potential. They refers to anyone who sees you as less than you are. Okay. We're going to start the ceremony. I want you to understand how 3 series of counters are going to be placed. The Hanged Man of Neptune in Pisces has put you in a position, right? The mediocrity that will cringe because they can't necessarily capture the brilliance you do. And so they have to basically reframe what they're experiencing, as they refuse to accept that what they're trying to see in you really exists within them. Regardless, there's a 3-level layer of counters that are occurring. You may have wondered why certain things were allowed to happen to you. Nothing that happens to you is allowed to happen to you more than you can handle. We have Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. What's going to happen that's going to shift everything before we step into this new era is that 165 years worth of phenomena through your DNA, as most of you are not over 150, 30 years worth of living experience. And if you're less than 30, if you're younger than 30, no worries. And then 365 days with the sun are going to converge. We're going to have the new moon in Pisces February 28th. We're going to have Sun conjunct Saturn in Pisces, the second and final one. And we're going to have Sun conjunct Neptune right before we have Sun conjunct North Node. All of these are three different layers of counters. That means Saturn of karma, everything that has ever been done to you throughout the entire spectrum and range, positive and negative, is going to be immediately countered. If you've seen Seven Deadly Sins, you know Meliodas has that move, full counter. Meliodas also has revenge counter, okay, where he willingly takes damage from people to the point where they're close to death, and then he reverses it. The astral guide has poignantly noticed that it's already happening. And that's because this new moon in Capricorn is actually the activation in connection to Pisces that's going to facilitate the effect of this by Pisces season. Once we get into Aquarius, it's going to strengthen this. Justice and judgment is here. That's why it was very important for you to be on the right side of justice, because celestial judges through Pluto and Aquarius. And if you want a comic book representation of this, yes, Hunter x Hunter is the greatest anime ever. The comic book by Marvel, Judgment Day, with I think the Eternals, X-Men, and the Celestials, I don't know entirely, is a great representation of this. Pluto and Aquarius are like extraterrestrial celestial beings judging humanity. They left for a period and they're coming back. And you being on the right side of this judgment is going to save you from mass extinction events. Other than that, though, relative to the karma that you have aligned with the integrity of your beliefs, everything good that has been done to you by certain people, they're going to be blessed, because the domino effect of their actions, where they could have made the decision to respond, which is their karma, to do you dirty but did you well, is going to clap back on them. Those who projected negativity and taken actions to undermine you and do you dirty, they're going to die. I'm going to be completely honest. They're not just going to be effed up, they're going to die. They're not going to be the same person. There's nothing you have to do about this but maintain integrity. This is the clapback of all clapbacks. It's happening with the sun, which is 365 days. It's happening with Saturn, which is 28 to 30 years. And it's happening with Neptune, which is 165 years or 85 years, borrowing in generational levels of effery, which is why this eclipse is going to shake everything up. Tsunamis. And it is already happening for real. So all you have to do as we set this decision is to commit to this decision and make sure that you do not go back on your word, because that is our ninja way. So if you decide to be healthy, then every decision you make from here on out is coming from a decisive point of health. You're going to make sure everything you do aligns with that decision to be healthy. Whether that's going cold turkey, whether that's, practicing temperance, even if it is indulging, you're doing so from that intention. That's all you have to do. Then we will harvest that in 2 weeks. Then we'll step into the new moon Pluto Aquarius, which is going to awaken a supernatural quality of strengthening this universal power. And this is where I'm saying everything moving forward is going to be like a sci-fi movie. You're going to be moving stuff with your mind. You're going to be levitating. You're going to be having more vivid dreams. If you want to quit smoking, claim that you have quit smoking. I do, of course, have the ultimate manifestation playlist. I highly recommend checking out any of those videos if you're not familiar with the law of assumption, as practicing this moving forward will not only give you more instant results, but maintaining this alignment of focus and willpower will elevate you to levels that you never thought possible, as it's going to bring up the latent development that you could not have been conscious of, as it was all auto nervous. And it's going to put you in this position to not only make the most of this, but to pretty much gain everything that you're worth from it. Okay. You deserve it. Congratulations. In fact, tap your neighbor on the side or pat yourself on the back and say, I deserve it. It's as simple as that. Okay. That being said, ignore those who are facetious and use sarcasm to undermine what you're doing. You are under no obligation to explain yourself for anybody. Your actions will do more talking for you than they have ever done, because you have already taken all the action you need as we complete this cycle. All right, let's get on with the ritual and ceremony. Okay, as you can see, we do have this 9-degree sun and moon conjunction. All right. This activation of universal God power is not only going to complete the definition of your character, but subconsciously guide your awareness towards the activation and integration before we harvest this in 2 weeks. Okay. That being said, Capricorn is of decisive power. Decide has the same root as suicide and homicide. When you make a decision, you are murdering something. Well, you're not really committing a homicide, but you are facilitating an execution. Everything else that you wouldn't decide before is effectively dead as you collapse that into a point and move forward with what you've decided. So all we're going to do is we're going to make a series of decisions. You can make at the very least one decision, and we are going to now set an intention based on that decision. You're simply going to say, I decide, insert decision. Because you're doing that with 256 plus people who will also make the intention for your decision to crystallize at the highest efficiency, not only will you experience this immediately once we end the broadcast, but it's also going to exponentially charge your intention. And this is the collective currency that we have that really can't be bought or taken away from you. And that's why you're getting psychically attacked off the wazoo for even being, attached to this. People, the dark forces don't like what we're doing for obvious reasons. No one calls them out more than we do without even trying. So what you want to think of right now is, what is it that you don't decide to do? Moving into the next 2 weeks, month, and year, what is it that you know is not for you? This is what's going to influence what you do decide. Okay. I want you right now to meditate on, with 250 plus people, everything you decide to be and do moving forward. And the only challenge that I have for you is, do not lie to yourself by telling yourself that it is impossible or that you have limits. And shout out to y'all in the comments. Thank you. Okay. Carrie's decision is to net 1 million in 1 year. Nobody, from me to anyone else, can tell her that that's impossible but her. And she has decided that it is not impossible. And so, as she has made this decision, it is already done. And all she has to do is take inspired action towards that. Your mission, should you choose to accept, is to think of and take action on this decision as if it's already done. This will increase millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires, infinitiaires. This will increase the resistance you feel as you make this decision. What you're going to realize is, once you make this decision and align with your destiny, you're going to feel counteracting frequencies that wish to discourage you from this decision. You can't make $1 million. That's impossible. You can't do that. But that is necessary so that once you tell their stupid asses to sit the F down and to STF you talking to you, that's going to strengthen your intent. Now you have leveled up on their idiotic, stupid selves. Okay? Because that's what they are. Anyone who has the audacity to doubt what you have already decided for yourself unsolicitedly, that has nothing to do with them. These are just facts. Similar to a video game, you want to actually encourage this resistance. You want to wish that an MFer would. I wish someone would try to get me to doubt what I've decided, because that is your opportunity to strengthen that intention by putting that being in their place with your decision. And you don't have to do that by arguing with them. You don't have to do that by fighting them. You don't have to lower yourself by having to explain yourself. You can just decide to move forward more towards that action. It's literally that simple. I decide also to become financially independent and have endless income. Jenny D is an awakened goddess who realized nothing can stop her from manifesting this, simply because you've decided. It's literally that simple. It may not be easy, but it's literally that simple as you figure this out. Okay. So, that being said, now that we've taken time to really focus on this, you can simplify this into one sentence or word, or you can literally say as much decisions as you want. But we are going to count down from 5. And once we reach one, you're going to say everything that you decide. Okay. We decide to be limitless. You can do a list. There's no limit. You can do as much decisions as you want. And then you can say one word that encapsulates all those decisions, or just say all those decisions. Okay. We decide to be limitless. We decide to be almighty forever. Okay. We decide to prosper. We decide to win, win, and win, and win some more. And after you say these decisions out loud or in your head, you will now also make the decision. I decide that all of the priceless beings who are sitting with me in this live right now, their decisions crystallize and come true efficiently for the highest good of all. Do you have to use those exact words? No, you must say it how you want to say it because this is your decision. So, for those of you who have just joined, we are starting the decision making ceremony while the sun and moon are at 9 degrees Capricorn. This is effectively you sowing the seeds of these intentions. And then I'm going to go over what's going to happen over the next 2 weeks once you've made this decision. Okay, y'all are about to be so blessed. And once you make this decision, don't let anyone tell you that it hasn't happened. Don't wait for it. So if you have an issue of waiting for things, click my ultimate manifestation playlist and watch the first video. In fact, if you have never seen the playlist, your homework is to watch the first video by the Power of I Am channel where he talks about not waiting and accepting it now. It is a powerful video. Okay. That being said, we're going to count down from 5. You're going to decide everything that you are accomplishing, everything that you have accomplished, and everything that you are doing moving forward. And then you are going to decide that everyone else's decision has come true for the highest good of all. Are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We decide we are limitless forever. We decide we are almighty forever. We decide we are complete and lacking nothing. We decide nobody can tell us anything about ourselves that is untrue. We decide that we have achieved success beyond our imagination. We decide we have got it like that. We decide we are financially independent and endlessly wealthy. We decide that we get everything we want, whenever we want, however we want, whyever we want. We decide that we are fully awakened to who we are. And we decide that success and victory is ours. We have decided to inherit this eternal life as our names are written in the book of life. We decide to vanquish all evil and to put in their place dark forces who wish to undermine our progress. We decide to clap back on anyone who feels that they can stop what we're doing or slow us down on our path. And we decide to have the will of the higher power done on earth as it is in heaven. We decide that every single person else, the 270 plus people in this chat who have made their decisions, have their decisions be quickly and efficiently crystallized, manifested tangibly for the highest good of all. And so it is. It's literally that simple. We're not waiting for this to happen. It's happened. You only perceive less than 1% of the electromagnetic spectrum. So that other 99% is the simultaneous achievement of what your imagination has already conceived. And now within time and space, you will continue to align with. So it's nothing you have to wait for. Do not give your power away to circumstances. That is only what weak people do who refuse to take responsibility for their own perception and consciousness. All right. Beautiful. That being said, I'm now going to break down what this decision you have made will express over the next 2 weeks. And if you decide to accept this mission, I already feel a shift. Carrie, great question. We are going to resume live readings when I return into town on Thursday, the 2nd. Okay. If you choose to accept this mission, all you have to do is carry this intention to the next 2 weeks. Once we reach the moon in Cancer, you will get an individual feeling of what it feels like to actually accomplish what you've accomplished, and you will be actively feeling the harvest of your decision. And also the completion of everything you have achieved, not only this year, not only the past 30 years, but your whole life. That being said, how many times did I say that being said? We begin with this seed you have sown with the new moon in Capricorn. Okay. The moon is directing your understanding of this integrity and will subconsciously guide the consciousness of your sun towards what direction you should take this intention. How is it that you guide into this force? You maintain focus on this intention. If you have intended to be wealthy, but you're focusing on all the issues that stop you from being wealthy, your subconscious is not going to be able to guide you, because when it's guiding you towards the direction, your focus is on everything but this single-minded focus of being wealthy. And I don't mean wishfully thinking, I wish I'm wealthy. It's, I decided I'm wealthy. The first opportunities that come up for me to manifest, I've already taken. I'm taking, which if you are focused on, once your subconscious guides you, you will recognize immediately, although you will already understand you have it already, which is why you made the decision, chicken or the egg, which came first. Okay. So be mindful, because now that we've made this decision, really, there's nothing that can be done to stop this. So all dark forces can do is persuade you to be distracted. Be mindful of the influences that come up now who have chosen to play the role of challenging your intentions to get you distracted on everything but what you focused on. Be mindful of agents of these dark forces who play sarcastic and undermine the gravity of the spiritual stuff you're doing. It's not that serious when they're really just fake and they represent other interests. Be very mindful and wary of that, because they're not really your friends like they act like they are. They were placed in your life to limit the power with which you could exude. And this is evidenced by the excuses they make and the circular logic that they continue to reinforce, all of which is beneath you. Okay, cool. As you focus on this intention, what you will find is that as we move forward, the moon continuing in Capricorn will, of course, trine Uranus. The innovation of unconventionally manifesting your understanding of this decision and activation of power will guide you not only instantly and supernaturally, but with the sextile to Neptune and Saturn, organize the integrity of your beliefs so you can take this tangible, practical understanding, and with the 300-degree angle it is making, with the adjustment of your beliefs you made 3.5 weeks prior, complete the tangible direction you tie together this physical understanding of metaphysical influences through your imagination and belief. So the connection with Neptune will have you tangibly feel intangible elements of your imagination while linking to the equivalent of a car charger battery with Uranus and Taurus, innovating how extra dimensionally your 5 physical senses can activate more clear senses It's important to note that this moon will make a Sagittarius angle. So you will be understanding the direction to perceive all these extra dimensional aspects through Uranus and Neptune. In other words, it's going to get really supernatural. Okay. But you're going to be able to ground exactly how that's happening, especially now with the transformation of the Jupiter Gemini through Capricorn. That will help you understand how you're applying this transformation of the evolution of your mindset. So tomorrow is going to really be a very incredible understanding of how to drive forward the activation of these intentions and how to immediately innovate how unconventionally you can activate the force of God within you. Oh, but it gets better because now, once the moon goes over Pluto in Aquarius, you are tying in a supernatural, advanced, knowledgeable understanding of the manifestation of this God power. Okay. Will there be widespread abductions? That's only if you believe in aliens. The concept of humanoid aliens is a Hollywood concept. Um, can you invade an ant farm? Can you physically take your body and invade an ant farm? You can't. You would literally destroy. You can't even fit in an ant farm. So an alien can invade this earth. The whole concept of extraterrestrials, like you could have extraterrestrial species coming from the water or whatnot, but the whole concept of an alien humanoid coming down, that's fake. That is entirely movie made. And they introduced that concept to probably fool you with the Project Bluebeam or something like that. But with that being said, once again, this supernatural, knowledgeable, advanced understanding with the moon in Aquarius is going to create, as you can see, a 30-degree angle with the moon and the sun. And this is going to manifest the power. How? It's going to manifest the knowledge, moon in Aquarius, of this God power. So as it goes through Aquarius, you're going to be stepping into this next 20-year era in that over the next 20 years, the moon will be making a conjunction with Pluto. Why is this significant? Because over the past decade, the moon has been making a conjunction with Pluto in Capricorn. So we were coming into a soul subconscious understanding of how our body is awakening God power. Now we're coming into a soul advanced understanding of how our mind is applying this awakening of the force. Okay. So you are going to understand the knowledge of what power you've activated. And this is going to manifest supernatural energy to fuel this power. This is what's going to strengthen the definition of this power. Okay. And one thing to keep in mind is that through the trine of the moon in Aqua to Jupiter retrograde, advanced understanding of principles that were difficult to put into words will not only finally be able to expand your vocabulary with this integrative trine to Jupiter, that now King Kungsing the Sun will evolve how you can integrate your mindset around this decision you're making, but opposite Mars retrograde in Leo and Pluto extremely also express this courage and strength of potency through this Mars aspect to match the passion with intellect. So you're not only just going to know what to think about it, but you're also going to have the courage to act off on it. We see Mars is also trining the North Node, which is sextiling Pluto. Okay. And relative to that, puts you in this position to increase the knowledgeable understanding of this celestial quality. So that once the moon now moves forward into the final decan of Aquarius, we will see that it makes a closing square to Uranus and Taurus. Similar to what Venus has done, It's going to revisit the previous conjunction we had with the moon on Uranus and Taurus, and now complete the knowledgeable understanding of how we've yet updated this relative to this Capricorn season. We also want to keep in mind that the proximity of the sun is getting close to Saturn. So at this point so far, the intention and seed you've made now, once you step into the moon in Aquarius, you're going to understand the knowledge of how to really apply more understanding of what to communicate about it and how to begin to already manifest this supernatural God power. Okay. Oh, but it gets better. Basically, like the fan behind me, we've activated power. We're now fueling this power and intention with energy, supernatural energy, and Venus is going to polish this as the moon and Venus are going to move into Pisces together, producing the effect of this supernatural energy of knowledge through the effect of the causality of your imagination. As I think Einstein said, the only thing that's greater than knowledge, Aquarius, is imagination, Pisces. Now, is he biased because he was born Pisces season? Maybe, but I think it's the truth. And Neville Goddard has called imagination God. Mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Sag, and Pisces, are the produced effect of fixed signs that are activated from cardinal signs. That's why I like new moon in cardinals, because it gives you a really proper understanding of how we're able to produce this. So now that we've had this strengthened energy, once we step into the moon in Pisces, that the moon will with Venus, you're going to feel the exaltation very powerfully. What this is also going to facilitate is the produced effect of what you've activated now. So we want to talk about the moon connecting with Venus here, which is going to have you feel the divinity in the exaltation of the heart. This is the crystallization of the max degree of Venus, 29 degrees Aquarius, that with this shift, you will feel considerably. And this is what's going to apply the knowledge you've understood towards what to imagine. So if I told you to imagine a horse and you didn't know what a horse was, you wouldn't know how to imagine it. But if I showed you a picture of a horse, you now understand the knowledge based on vision of what a horse looks like. Now I understand more how to imagine that horse. So that's what the moon in Aquarius is going to do. It's going to help you understand the knowledge that we will convert into this belief magic, supernatural magic, metaphysical understanding. The Venus is going to polish how much more gracefully this feels, so that as Venus polishes this level of imagination, this exaltation, it not only beautifies this perspective, but I understand it now. The action you took in Capricorn, you're going to start to experience. That's what this means. We're activating the power now. You're going to be guided subconsciously. Then we're going to strengthen the energy and knowledge of this. And then the experience of what we're activating, you're going to begin to experience when the moon is in Pisces at a collective level. And that's what brings us to this moon in Pisces on Saturn. As you can see, when the moon is on Saturn, making its monthly 28-day update, shifting the integrity of our beliefs, as we increase more proficiency of this integrity with experience, we need the moon to update our understanding of this so that we understand more what we've been maintaining. As the moon reinitiates this cycle with Saturn and Neptune, what do you know? The sun is also going to make a perfect 300-degree sextile that revisits the initial conjunction that you have made since March 8th of 2024. That exact 14-degree closing sextile is a completion where moving forward, you're going to come into the rewards of the integrity you established forming these beliefs in the first place. And so for those of you who sowed integrity in your beliefs, that's what you're going to reap. the achievement and accomplish of how it tangibly, everything you saw of what you can achieve, you're now tangibly coming into. All right. So the moon timing so perfectly to understand now with this incredible awareness how to adjust and reinforce these beliefs is going to, if you never really believed in magic, show you how much more magical you've become. It's not only going to help you understand how to now produce and shift the attitude around your beliefs, but everything you've just made the decision towards accomplishing, you're going to literally start to experience it. And it's going to reinforce what you previously believed was possible because you're literally experiencing it. All right. And this is where anyone who says astrology is bullshit, they can't tell you about phases. They're going to use fallacies to say, oh, well, that doesn't real. But if you ask them what the phases are, they cannot tell you. It's an appeal to false authority. In other words, they're stupid. Okay, so with that being said, this, and I don't care if that sounds condescending, it is what it is. This 60-degree angle from the sun and moon, where we had the 30-degree in Aquarius, is now activating the Gemini signature. We want to also take into account that the moon will be squaring Jupiter in Gemini. And so it's going to challenge this evolution of our vocabulary with the update of our beliefs. What does that mean? If I didn't know what a horse looked like, I wouldn't even know how to communicate it. But if now you showed me a picture of a horse and I can now imagine a horse, it's going to challenge what I previously couldn't say about. And now I know how to describe it. Oh, okay, it has 4 legs. It has, what is that? A mane. That's what I'm imagining. So you are adjusting the evolution of your mindset with this greater adjustment of integrity of your beliefs. That's all that mutable square means. And the moon in Pisces is 270 degree, completing the previous firmware update or software update we had with the moon Jupiter that we have every 28 days since May of 2028. Once we 2024, once we step into June of 2025, the firmware update will be with the moon in its dignity and Jupiter in its exaltation. And all those 28 days throughout the year are going to feel so good. Okay. That being said, this is a very important day. Once we move forward and the moon is on Neptune, this is what's going to apply the structure towards the transcendence and stretching of your imagination. The moon on Neptune is definitely going to be a highly supernatural period. You want to pay attention to any dreams, and it's going to guide your perspective beyond the physical so that you can see beyond the forest for the trees, or beyond the trees or forest, however you say that. It's going to dissolve that illusion of separation. And, you just don't want to, you want to be in a position to surrender to what you think you know and believe. Anyway, once the moon goes into Aries now, this is very pivotal. We are going to be in a position where these seeds will break through the ground. But I do want to show you how the moon in trining Mars retrograde and getting ready to go back into Cancer will not only be powerfully felt, but it will continue reevaluating the courage of your actions and the conviction of your actions. Because this Mars retrograde is somewhat similar to just repositioning your steps. And for all of this to occur while Mars is opposite Pluto really speaks more to the harvest of this awakening. Because remember, guys, we initially had Mars conjunct Pluto February of 2024. So this 180-degree angle is very potently harvesting the supernatural and how passionately you can express this. But we're going back to reevaluate how it feels. So once we step into that 90-degree angle of moon to sun on Chiron, this is going to break through the ground the seeds that you planted today, literally right now. And the collective facet of this awareness is going to take the individual raw understanding of who you are as a foundation of authenticity to understand this level of integrity you're directing yourself with. All right. The moon on Chiron exceptionally is also going to challenge opposite Lilith, your identity and your ego. Okay. And thank you, Too Far Out. And thank you, King Sigma. Much appreciated to all you who gift memberships and for you for gifting these memberships. How can I make sense of the Lilith opposition? Okay. Some of y'all, no offense, and I'm not even gonna say no offense. You probably don't do this. Some people lose sleep. Some of you don't want to lose sleep over somebody who just lets anybody finish in them. Like Lilith in Libra is like working girl or guy energy. It's like a classy whore. I'm gonna just be completely honest with you. So like, would you lose sleep over somebody who gets paid like $200 for someone random to skeet in them? Okay, ladies, would you lose sleep over some man whore who's just nutting in anybody? Like, let's just be honest. Like, an aspect like this is going to really test your integrity. Are you going to lose sleep over a petri dish? Because some people would. Some people will allow themselves to get manipulated over someone who has no right to raise their tone. This opposition here is where you're going to be like, lower your goddamn tone. I can buy nude photos of you for $30 on the internet. Lower your goddamn tone talking to me. Okay, ladies, you telling certain men, don't talk to me like that, where you're just getting burned having sex with random chicks. You gonna throw my pH balance off. That is the attitude we are integrating through this. Am I saying that you have to shame sex workers? No, some sex workers do it for the love of the game. They have integrity in what they do. I'm just saying, don't let anybody raise their tone on you. And you can buy their nudes like it's a fast food restaurant. No offense. No offense. And I'm speaking more on an unintegrated negative form of Lilith. I do love this comment because Lilith in Libra doesn't necessarily have to be in the way I'm portraying it. But I do mean, as far as this opposition with the conjunction to Chiron, people will try and play with your ego. And just let people know to lower their goddamn tone. Because sir, okay, that's all I'm finna say. Aries is very sexual, all right? I have A+ dick. You're going to lower your tone talking to me. I could put you to sleep. You're not going to talk to me like that. And some of you ladies could be like, my poom poom is divine. You not finna talk to me like that. You wouldn't last 5-10 minutes. Like this is the conviction. This is the conviction you are going to be integrating moving forward, where you have already made this decision. So you are now integrating the authenticity of your own individuality with this collective decision, saying it with your chest. Okay. Of course, we want to also see how Mercury is the last planet to make it cross the finish line due to its retrograde, that 270-degree angle with Neptune. Moving forward from this integration of this new moon is going to change forever the way you perceive information. Because after this square, by the time Mercury comes back around, Neptune's in Aries. You feel me? So This 270-degree square, I mean, Mars is also going to make it through later, but this 270-degree square with Mercury is completing the LSD trip you took before earlier in the year when Mercury was conjunct Neptune. So that square is now completing how your brain processes the higher vision of beliefs that Neptune helped you see beyond with your imagination. So it's going to really complete that synchronization process. And you want to be very mindful as moving forward. Of course, by the time the moon is now through this integration moving into Taurus, Mercury is going to get ready to go into Capricorn. And so that receptivity with your subconscious and your brain, the brain processing the higher meaning and your subconscious understanding who you are, integrating this philosophy is going to help you understand how to move forward with that. And look at that. That's going to square Mars in Cancer. So that slight adjustment is going to shift how much different you feel about what you should do now that its short entrance in Leo began to harvest supernatural energy. Okay. So how would you feel if before it took you like 30 days to lose weight? Then Mars started harvesting supernatural latent energy within you. And now within 2 days, you can lose like 10, 30 pounds with minimal effort, right? Now the way you feel about your ability to take action, you would feel a lot more confident. That's what this retrograde is shifting. You're going to understand how your understanding of yourself is shifting relative to this potency you're feeling with Cancer and Mars of power, the god of war. So the moon in Taurus is one of the most important aspects we're going to have. This is now taking that 90-degree angle from Aries and applying a 120-degree Leo signature with Taurus that's grounding the natural quality of these God level actions, this universal power. You're understanding the natural value of universal power. This is after you've balanced the bike, you're now going naturally at top speed. Of course, Taurus is the slowest, so you're going to take your time. And Uranus and Taurus is, well, we're not riding pedal bikes anymore. Uranus has innovated the technology to where they're self-driving motor bicycles. And you're understanding how to ride that. We also want to see that the previous conjunction we had with Saturn, that's now direct, mind you, is tangibly vocalizing itself through your body language. And you're understanding how to make the shift in your beliefs and imagination tangible. It's going to be one of the strongest and most luxurious days of the transit. And of course, as the moon goes over Uranus, we're going to now reinitiate a new 28-day cycle with the moon on Uri. Okay. This will also sextile Neptune and ground intangible facets of your imagination to make more practical how it is you will manifest naturally through your five senses the decision you have made. So before you feel it powerfully, you're going to smell your decision, touch your decision, taste your decision. Sarah, this moon in Taurus, the 7th, 8th, and 9th of January, okay? Of course, that's what brings us to the integration of this transit through the Virgo signature of this Capricorn season, where now after manifesting the knowledge in Aquarius, activating the magic and experience of this power in Pisces, integrating the authenticity of this integral direction in Aries, and integrating the natural manifestation of God power through your body, you are now updating the evolution of your mind's thought process and behavior around what you think, around how you harvest this power. It's going to square Venus and Saturn. So whereas we squared Jupiter with Pisces, where we're understanding what about our beliefs have to shift to align with this new thought process, now we are integrating with this update of our beliefs how we must shift our thought process and communication to align with this update of our beliefs. Now that Venus is polishing your beliefs and smoothing them to show you how much more possible they are to achieve, you're going to really understand the truth of that and how to communicate it. And the integration of this is going to tie together everything you've activated since right now. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what's going to bring us after this square of the moon to Neptune, to also tie this intellectual understanding of the intangible nature of our imagination into the full moon in Capricorn, in Cancer. First, we're going to have, of course, the moon opposition, right? With the Mercury and the moon directing this ascension of our brains to now organize practically so we can feel the subjective and objective opposition and polarity, what we personally individually feel and how we organize those thoughts, but also the entrance of the North Node into Pisces, where we officially go into Lululand and go down the most epic rabbit hole of our lives, where you'll at this point have to integrate everything that the universe has taught you about your own personal magical abilities and not what other people have used their own beliefs to psych you out of. And then, of course, we have the full moon that's going to be on the god of war, helping you understand how much more powerful you feel about yourself and where you'll be aware you can direct that. Because after this, ladies and gentlemen, a week from this point, we're going to have one of the most epic Sun-Pluto activations in Aquarius of all time. And we're going to start off Aquarius season with quite the bang. But before that, we will reconvene during the full moon ceremony. And the monthly peace report in Aquarius will allow us to go more into what that entails. By the time we're at the full moon in Cancer, you'll be feeling very powerfully what direction you've not only begun to harvest this decision in, but you'll be feeling the decision be made real. As we make it to the moon in Libra Scorpio, where we complete that cycle, we're going to complete this Capricorn cycle with the sun next to Pluto, awakening supernatural energy. And you're going to understand the wisdom around this. Please understand that to muggles and normies, yes, I'm using these terms, this is hogwash and bullshit. So that's why I'm like, don't really waste your time explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you, because they'd rather worship their beliefs than acknowledge the truth. They're gone. They're just used as agents to dissuade you on the path you've decided to walk down, because that path threatens those who have no leverage over your lack of self-esteem in yourself. And yeah, Aqua season gonna go insane, crazy. Okay. People will ridicule what you say. People will ridicule how you say it. People will make fun of you, but they won't present receipts. They won't demonstrate that you're actually wrong. They're just going to snitch on themselves and demonstrate that they don't know what they're talking about. So you can lower yourselves on their level and engage in that mediocrity, or you could just continue to move forward victorious. Baby, we're here. You've already made the decision. It's done. Thank you guys very much for tuning in with me. You guys are incredible. This has been such an incredible year. And I mean, I'm just so excited to how we're going to destroy and accomplish next year as well, albeit time is just a measure of the passage of this eternal now. Reflect over the next 2 weeks on everything you've decided. And as I end this broadcast, just focus on what decisions you have made. and get excited for how you have already accomplished them, and stay focused for how you will be led deeper and deeper into and through them. You guys stay blessed as always. All right. And until next time, peace.